So today we want to delve into the world of registered products. Now these are tax advantage savings accounts that offer tax benefits and encourage those living and working in Canada to save their money. In Canada, the two most common registered products are the RRSP and the TFSA. The TFSA is a tax-free savings account and the RRSP is a registered retirement savings account. And we're going to be talking about the two of them, the benefits of each of them, and the eligibility requirements of each of them as well. So stay tuned. The RRSP and the tax-free savings account are different kinds of accounts, but they share certain similarities. Now, one of the similarities that they share together is that the money that you put in the account is not taxed while it is in the account. Now, the details of this is different for each account, but the general idea is that monies that you make in the account, say dividends or growth interest that you gain, is not taxed while it is in the account. These two accounts have limits that you can save to each of them. Now, if you live in Canada, you have heard the saying about taxes. You are taxed on everything, including taxes on death. But these two accounts are accounts that growth on the account is not taxed while your money is in the account. But we're going to talk about when and how the money in that account is taxed, if ever. You don't have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident to open any of these accounts. Yeah, you can open them when you come to Canada. For a tax-free savings account, you need to be at least 18 years of age and you need to have a valid SIN number. For the RRSP, however, you must have employment income and you must have filed your Canadian taxes at least once. Now let's dive into each of them. We'll talk about the tax-free savings account. The tax-free savings account is a very flexible savings account that was started by the Canadian government to help Canadians to save money. The money saved in that account is not just for retirement. You can save money for any purpose in a tax-free savings account. The beautiful thing about the TFSA is that the monies that you make in that account, that means interest that you gain, growth in the account, whatever, is not taxed. Okay? Also, when you put money in a tax-free savings account, the money can just sit in the account like a savings account, or the monies can be used for investment. So you can actually use money in a tax-free savings account to do investments, maybe to buy stocks, to invest in mutual funds or whatever investment. Whatever monies you make in a tax-free savings account is not taxed. Monies you save in a tax-free savings account is from your after-tax income. So you would have already been taxed on your income on that money before you put it in a tax-free savings account. So your employer doesn't charge you at source. Your employer doesn't tax you at source. Nobody taxes you. You save income in a tax-free savings account from your after-tax income. Now, I know that if you live in Canada and you know that there's an account that you can put in monies and you are not taxed for the growth in that account, you might want to put all your money in the account. But the Canadian government is smart as well. And that is why they have limited the amount that each person can contribute each year to their TFSA account. This is called the contribution room. As of 2023, when this video was made, residents in Canada can put up to a maximum of $6,500 into their TFSA account. However, any unused contribution room is rolled over to the following year. And I'm going to give you an example. So let's say you opened your TFSA account in maybe 2021. And let's say the maximum contribution room in 2021 was $6,500, for example. And in 2021, you were able to contribute the maximum of $6,500. And then in 2022, you were not able to contribute the maximum and you could only put $2,500 into your TFSA account in 2022. In 2023, you would have a contribution room of $6,500, which is your contribution room for 2023, and an extra room of $4,000 from 2022. So in 2022, you had an extra $4,000 that you were not able to contribute because you were only able to contribute $2,500 out of your $6,500. So that $4,000 has rolled over to the following year, which is 2023. And in 2023, you can now contribute $4,000 plus your $6,500, which is $10,500. So whatever contribution room you were unable to use in a year, you can roll it over to the following year. You do not lose that contribution room. And I would also like to say that if you're an adult, 18 years and above, you have a contribution room for each year that you have been an adult of 18 years in Canada. For example, let's say you're 23 years old and you only heard about the TFSA in the year when you were 23 years old. You have all the room from when you were 18 to when you were 23. That means that in your TFSA account, you can contribute up to all those years, the contribution room for all those years that you missed out. So that's $6,500 for when you were 18, $6,500 when you were 19, $6,500 when you were 20, when you were 21, and when you were 22. You can put all of that in your TFSA account. You don't have to put just the $6,500 for that year. Now, if you log into your CRA account, you would usually see the amount of money that you have waiting for you to contribute to your TFSA. So you would see the contribution amount that you have, or your contribution for that year added up over the years, for your TFSA account. That information is usually in your CRA account. You don't have to rack your brain thinking about it. So if you file your taxes before, just log into your TFSA account. There is a portion for TFSA. You would see that information there. Note that the contribution rooms are not set in stone, which means that it can change. The Canadian government can change it at any time. So keep an eye out for any information from the Canada Revenue Agency, because they are the ones that would usually inform you if there's a change in your contribution room. And moreover, when such announcements are made, it's usually like news and everybody will eventually get to hear it. So keep your ear out for such news. Now, despite what I've said about the contribution room, I know there are some people that might be ambitious and still want to contribute more than their contribution room. Note that if you do that, you're going to be paying some interest on the excess amount that you contribute to your TFSA, and it's 1% per month. So if you contributed more than $6,500 each year, when your limit or your maximum for that year was $6,500, you would pay interest on every excess amount at the rate of 1% per month. So how do you set up a TFSA? That's what we're going to talk about next. If you're getting value from this video so far, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. You must be 18 years old to open a TFSA in Canada. You'll be asked for your date of birth, your SIN number, and a form of identification. And once all this is ready, the account will be open for you and you can start funding it to the maximum contribution as soon as possible. Now, let's talk about your Registered Retirement Savings Account, or the RRSP. The RRSP is an account that is designed to help you to save for retirement. The monies that you save in an RRSP can be invested in what? Stocks, mutual funds, bonds, or any other kind of investment of your choice. The monies that you save in an RRSP can grow completely tax-free until it is time for you to take out the monies. Now, because an RRSP is a retirement savings account, you would usually be withdrawing from it when you are retired. And as at that time, you will have a lower tax rate, and that will be the tax rate that you will be taxed at. So what is the benefit here if you are still taxed? So if you were taxed when you were younger and building up their accounts, then you'll be taxed at a higher marginal rate. But because you are being taxed when you have retired, when you are older, you have a lower tax rate and you'll be taxed at a lower tax rate, as against the higher tax rate that you would have been taxed if you were taking the money out when you were much younger. Now, this next bit of information is very important. Once you turn 71, the money in your Registered Retirement Savings Account must be moved either to a RRIF or to an annuity. A RRIF is a Registered Retirement Income Fund, and along with an annuity, it can form income for you during your retirement years. So you might want to ask, What happened if you withdraw money from your RRSP before you turn 71? So for example, if you had like an emergency and you knew you had money in your RRSP, what if you withdrew it? What will happen? Well, you can withdraw money from your RRSP before you turn 71, but then you will have to pay what is called the deferred income tax. However, if your RRSP is a locked-in RRSP, you might not be able to withdraw from it. Do you know if your RRSP is locked in or not? You would have to ask your RRSP issuer for that information. Now, there are two exceptions where you can withdraw from your RRSP without paying taxes. Number one, you can withdraw up to $35,000 if you're a first-time home buyer who is building or buying their first home or their first primary residence. Two, you can also withdraw to fund full-time education for yourself or your spouse, up to $10,000 per calendar year or a maximum of $20,000 over a 4-year period. However, in both of these cases, the funds must be paid back into the RRSP over a period of 10 to 15 years. So it's just an interest-free loan that you are taking from your own self. So how do you set up an RRSP? You can set up an RRSP through your work. That is a group RRSP. You can set up an RRSP by yourself, or you can set up an RRSP with your spouse, spousal RRSP. To set up an individual RRSP, there are many Canadian financial institutions that can help you. Banks, credit unions, and insurance companies all can set up an RRSP for you. You just need to fill out an application, and once your account is approved and open, you can start contributing right away. You can open an RRSP as long as you have Canadian employment income and you are younger than 71 years old. Even minors can open an RRSP. I know that in this video we've talked about some technical terms, but I've tried to make them as simple as possible so anybody can understand them. A TFSA and an RRSP are usually the first step or the first financial steps that newcomers to Canada make. And I'm prompting you, if you're a newcomer to Canada, or maybe you're not so new and you don't have an RRSP or a TFSA, you need to get about setting one up for yourself starting today. If you don't know where to start, you can contact me. I'm going to leave my contact details in the description below, and I'll tell you how to start and where to start. So that's all for this video. In my next video, we'll be digging into another financial strategy that can help you save money and make money for yourself in Canada. If you gained any value from this video, don't forget to like it, tell your friends about it, share this channel far and wide, and don't forget to tune in for the next video. See you in the next one. Bye for now.